Hi, I'm Congressman Tim Ryan. Welcome to the Creating Student Maker Conference. I want to thank my good friend Jack Scott for organizing this and putting it together. I think this is a great opportunity for those of you who are involved in schools back home, whether from the curriculum side or the administrative side or the counseling side or the teaching side. A lot is happening around the United States with regard to the maker movement, which has become a huge grassroots movement around the country and around the world, where people are figuring out how to make things, how to start very small businesses in order to be a little bit more independent. Much of the manufacturing world is moving, especially in the small batch manufacturing, moving towards the maker movement. And I think what Jack Scott, I know what Jack Scott is trying to do and what I've tried to do here in Washington, D.C. by creating a maker caucus here in Washington so that we can talk about legislative initiatives that may help continue to grow and expand the maker movement. What we're trying to do here with this conference is to try to give our young people a leg up. The maker movement hasn't caught on everywhere. Not every school is taking real initiatives and implementing programs to try to help the young people in their school districts. And this is a heck of an opportunity for our young kids to get ahead of the curve. And everything we've been trying to do back in Ohio has been with the thinking of how do we get our kids ahead of a tidal wave that's coming. Whether it's in a certain sector of the economy like renewable energy, whether it's certain innovations happening in schools like the maker movement. We want our kids to be very well positioned for the future economy, and it's not really even the future economy, it's already here. And how do we plug our kids in and allow them to have the independence of being an entrepreneur, being an innovator, having the skills necessary and important to employers. And that's what this conference is all about. So we're here to help in any way that we can. And I know Jack has been an amazing leader on this. One of the great moments in my career, I sit on the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee, and I was traveling around the world to see what was going on in the Middle East and see our standing in that region and trying to understand better the situation. And in that trip, I actually took what's called a COD plane that flies onto aircraft carriers. And so I left on a COD plane from Bahrain into the Persian Gulf, 40 miles away from Iran, landed on the USS Harry Truman. And I was with other members of Congress, and as I was getting the tour of the USS Harry Truman, they had 3D printers on their ship. And those 3D printers came from Youngstown, Ohio. And you can begin to see the connection between what we're trying to do in Youngstown, what we are doing in Youngstown, what we're trying to expand in Youngstown, and the fact that the USS Harry Truman desired to have 3D printers on their ship so that they can print out certain component parts that they may need to live on that ship without having to call back to the United States, without having to get a defense contractor involved. They were able to deal with it on their own. That's the level of sophistication we want our kids to be prepared to deliver to the Defense Department, to the growing renewable energy sector, to all aspects of the energy sector, to the advanced manufacturing sector, healthcare, all across the board. 3D printing, makerspace, advanced additive manufacturing is the future. We want our kids to have that opportunity. I'm so glad you're there. Jack, thank you for your leadership, and we're here in Washington to help any way that we can. Thank you so much. Have a great conference.